Hi there, this is Chef Bill at the Culinary Institute of America, and today I get to grill hanger steak, one of my favorite cuts of meat. I've got a hot grill pan right here and it's ready to go. If I were grilling this outside, I would have the grill preheated and cleaned, but we're going to be working in the studio today. So here we have a hot grill pan. 2 hanger steaks, fresh from the butcher. I'm going to season these with salt and pepper, and I know that this cut of meat has plenty of flavor, and so it can really stand up to seasoning. Here goes the pepper. And then before it goes onto the grill, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. This is olive oil, canola oil would be fine. And we'll just toss that so that all of the surfaces are coated with oil. This technique I'm using for hanger steak would be entirely appropriate for almost any other steak that you buy at the butcher store. So flat iron steak, tri-tip, New York strip. I would season it with salt and pepper, and I would hit it with a little bit of oil. All right, this is going to go onto the grill, and you hear that sizzle. That tells you you're doing something right. It tells you that there is cooking going on. That sizzle is just the moisture in that meat boiling and passing off as vapor. Okay, here goes the second. Now, let me put this aside, and we're going to have a little science lesson here. What's happening to this meat as it cooks is the surface of the meat is beginning to dry out a little bit. The moisture on the surface is being driven out by the heat, and once that moisture is gone, the temperature of that surface of the meat can go above the temperature of boiling water, 212 degrees. It has to do that if we want this to brown. So, first we drive the moisture out. Now the temperature can go up, 220, 240, 250. Above 250, you start to see a browning reaction called the Maillard reaction, which takes place between protein, carbohydrates, and heat. And I'm here to tell you that what you get from the Maillard reaction is not just color. That's a small thing. You get hundreds and hundreds of flavor and aroma compounds, most of which you like. If you overdo it on the Maillard reaction, you won't like that. That means you just burnt your steak. But that's what's happening here, and it's an important thing to understand. If it didn't sizzle when I put it on the grill, chances are it's not hot enough. If it sizzled too much and burst into flames, the grill is likely too hot. But a moderate temperatured grill, something that I can hold my hand over for about 3 seconds, will mean that this cut of meat will cook per inch of thickness in about 6 minutes to medium rare. Let's just have a little look-see. You can see already there's some browning going on. I would advocate putting the meat on the grill and then leaving it alone. You don't want to move it too quickly, because what will happen initially with the moisture is it'll kind of stick to the grill. But little by little, as it dries out and the protein on the surface pulls away, it'll free itself. So it's going to cook for 6 minutes, let's say. How do you evaluate doneness? Well, there's a couple of ways. The way I like to share, especially with a thin piece of meat like this, is recognizing that protein feels different as it cooks more. So if you just shake and relax your hand like this and poke yourself right there, you should feel like raw meat, because that's what you are. That's what raw meat feels like when it's relaxed. Touch your thumb to your first finger and it firms up almost imperceptibly. That's what rare meat feels like. Touch your thumb to your middle finger, it firms up a little bit more. That's medium. Your ring finger, medium well, and well done. You can feel this very firm. That is what well done meat will feel like. I'm going to take a look and see how I'm doing here. There's a little bit of browning that's going on, and so I'm going to turn these. And while they're cooking, I've got 2 hanger steaks right here that are cooked already. Now, if you evaluate their doneness by giving them a little squeeze and comparing it to your palm, I would say these are probably about medium, medium rare. I'm going to carve one of these up so that you can see it. We'll just let these cook. I'm going to take this off and put it on my cutting board. Before you take a knife and put it to this piece of meat, it's imperative that you pay attention to where the grain is. Take a look. If I bend this piece of meat, you see the grain separating right there. I want to carve this meat across the grain, okay? So here we go, a nice sharp knife. And I carve across the grain. You're probably anxious to see what we've got going on here, so let me lay it out for you. That is a beautifully cooked piece of meat. It's got the nice Maillard reaction on the surface, and the inside is about medium rare, medium. Back over here to the meat that's cooking, I'm going to give it another flip, and we'll allow it to cook a little bit more. Once this meat is done, there's an important step that you need to know about. You take the meat from the grill, and the heat has caused the moisture in the meat to heat up first, and then it starts to develop a great deal of pressure inside the meat. If you make the mistake of carving it right off the grill, that pressure suddenly bleeds out all over your cutting board. So what you need to do is take the meat from the grill and then let it rest in a warm spot. And what will happen is the heat or the energy inherent in that meat will pass off into the cool room, the temperature will come down, likewise the pressure will come down, and you will have a juicy, delicious piece of meat that doesn't leave your cutting board awash in liquid. What you put on the plate is a delicious steak cooked exactly the way you want it cooked.